Another special playoff episode of Next Man Up. Our safety, Quan Martin, had a huge game out in Detroit. We talk all about that and look forward to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, baby. We are in the NFC Championship. Then we have to have another Super Bowl champion pull up. Charles Mann, one of the best defensive ends to ever play the game, pulls up and talks about why winning is so important for this fan base. All that and more right now on Next Man Up. Commanders family, for our Next Man Up, we had to bring on the player of the game from out in Detroit, had an incredible pick six. We're going to talk about all that. Welcoming in our safety, Quan Martin. Brother, what's good?
What's going on, man? Appreciate you for having me.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time to sit with us. You know what I'm saying? You getting pick sixes on a big stage and all that, man. You doing big things, brother. Man, how great has this season been for you just overall?
Man, it's been special. Just from OTAs to camp and, everything that, we really been through. And just the preparation, man, everything that went into it, just new staff, new players, like building and bonding with those guys. And it's just been fun, man.
And you used the word special. A lot of people have used that word special. What, you mentioned all those things, but what about if you could hone in on something that has made this season so special for Quan Martin?
For me, man, just the guys around me. Jeremy Chan, Bobby Wagner, Mikey Sanderstill, like all those dudes, man, just being able to have a group of guys that, you can depend on and, that's going to depend on you. So just being able to show up for them dudes every day and shoot, really the whole team, man. Just everybody just been so hands-on and, talk about brotherhood all the time, but it ain't cliche, man. Like it shows like on the field, off the field, just the bonds is strong, man.
Y'all got that real brotherhood, and you mentioned Bobby Wagner, and that's a real leader right there, man. I mean, both of us, we grew up watching Bobby Wagner. We know what he's able to do on that field. What has he been like as a mentor and a leader to not only you, but this entire defense?
Man, he's been a lot. Just that leadership, just coming in here, man. He like, a coach on the field. So just being able to learn from him, man, just whatever, just take stuff from him. And he's a great piece on our defense.
You mentioned that coach on the field, but you also have a dog upstairs, and that defensive coordinator in Joe Witt Jr., man. Watching everything you guys do, making those adjustments, man. What has it been like? Because this is his first time being a defensive coordinator. What's it been like learning under Joe Witt Jr., and what makes him so special?
Man, it's been fun. Just the way he schemed things up, the way he put us in position to be successful and make plays, man. Like, it's been fun, and I don't think I ever had this much fun playing football, so.
What makes it so much fun, though, man? Because, again, we've had people sit in that same chair and say, I've never had this much fun, or this is the most fun I've had since college. What about it is so much fun and just working right? Because you've seen the NFL for a few years now. What makes this so much fun?
Man, it's just guys out there who just love the game of football, man, who going to go out and do anything to win. So, when you got guys like that, man, it's hard not to have fun and just fly around and make plays, man. And, we all just celebrate each other.
Man, and you talk about making plays, brother. You made a huge play. Let's talk about Detroit. Got that big pick six, man. In that moment, you catch that ball and you start taking off. You start seeing, when did you know you was going to take it all the way to the crib? As soon as you caught it?
Nah, it wasn't even as soon as I caught it. It was after I made the second dude miss. Once I made the second dude miss, I looked up. I just seen a line of, white jerseys just blocking for me. And I was like, I don't know if you seen the video, but I, put the ball out, 4 yards out. And I just seen the end zone, just the blue. Before I even got in there, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a touchdown. So it felt good, man, my first career pick six. And just scoring a touchdown, man, in any game just feels good.
How many times have you watched that highlight? How many times?
Man, I probably watched it probably 100 times. I've been trying to stop watching it. I probably ain't watched it since... Nah, I watched it today.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man.
But
you man,
it's been fun. Just you got a lot of people sitting there to you, and so it's hard not to see it.
I think my favorite part of that pick six was Luvu. That block at the end. I don't even know if that was necessary to do, but boy, it looked good, man. What did you say to Luvu when you saw that block?
Appreciate you for making sure I got in there, man. I mean, you never know how to go down, man. He might dive and trip me up, you know what I'm saying? So just that's what we talk about, man, doing it for the guy next to you. He didn't have to make that block, but he did, you know what I'm saying? So gave me an opportunity to score.
And that's been the coolest thing talking to you guys after these big plays, because everybody that's sat in this chair that's had big plays talk about their favorite part of it is after the fact, after you make the play, because of the reception you're getting on the sideline, because of the love, man. What was that love like after you got that pick six? Do you even remember, or was it just like white noise at that point?
Yeah, it was like white noise, man. Like I kind of blacked out. I did like the first thing I really heard was like the crowd just goes silent, and I could hear like our fans, like, you know, they in the other area. Like I could hear them screaming from afar. And I'm like, man, like it was just crazy, like just complete blank in the crowd. Like it was just crazy to see. And just, you know, my teammates, they came out, they celebrated me, man, and it was fun, honestly.
And you mentioned those fans, man. How great has it been? Because I think last time we spoke was in Arizona. Yeah. And even out there, they were out there, man. They were in Cincinnati. We've seen our fans travel everywhere. And even in Detroit, even though you could tell they didn't want us there, we were still there and we were still loud, man. How cool is that, being a player, knowing that you have a fan base behind you like that? Oh, man, it's been cool since, you know, we've been able to see it and, you know, just giving the fans something to cheer for, really. And just bringing these wins and continuing to, you know, just make the city happy, make the fans happy, and just putting ourselves in position to have that support from our fans. So it's been great all year. And it's great when you see these teams winning games. You see us doing these things. But it's one thing to beat the Eagles. Now, we already beat them once, but to beat them in the NFC Championship, I don't know if you noticed, but we have not been to the NFC Championship game since 1991.
Yeah,
you wasn't born yet. I wasn't born yet. So that's crazy, man. But Philly, that's something you are very, very familiar with. Do you feel like that gives you guys an advantage, knowing that you guys have seen this team not only twice, but also beat them before as well?
It does, but Coach Witt actually said something in the meeting today, and it kind of just stuck with me. He's like, yeah, like we played them, we beat them, blah, blah, blah. But we haven't played them in the NFC Championship game. So just treating this game like, you know, this is our first time playing them, truthfully.
What's the preparation been like? Like, you know, I know it's still a game, but this is playoffs. This is the NFC Championship. How has preparation increased or amped up during this playoff run you guys are on?
Right, yeah, man. Just guys trying to, you know, whatever kind of preparation it is, like taking care of your body, rehab, treatment, working out, like just getting stronger, and, you know, just studying, honestly. And just being able to look at the details, like you said, we played them twice already, so really just trying to find more of, you know, just digesting their offense, defense, whatever it may be, but just trying to find more and just seeing some things you can learn from.
When Dan Quinn talks to you guys during this time, because him, Bobby Wagner, Joe Jr., all of them have seen success in the playoffs. What has Dan Quinn's been messaging, not only to the team, but to the defense as a whole?
Just stay in the moment. It's going to be a lot of outside noise of this, that, whatever would come after, but just staying in the moment and just staying with our preparation and just taking it 1 week at a time.
Someone who definitely seems to always stay in the moment is Jaden Daniels. We were talking to Jonathan Allen off air, and he was like, man, our defense just knows whenever we're in a pinch, just get Jaden Daniels the ball back. Is that kind of the conversation you guys have on that sideline?
Yeah, man. We always talk about getting those takeaways, 3+ takeaways a week, and just, I mean, he's a bad man with the ball in his hands. So whenever you can give him opportunities, extra opportunities at the ball with the ball in his hands, like, he's special, and he's going to make plays.
And it's somebody that is in the secondary. You have to scout quarterbacks all the time. You have to play up against some of the best quarterbacks, especially this season. What does make Jaden Daniels so special in your opinion?
I mean, you know, obviously, like, we've been around him since OTAs, man, but I mean, just his confidence, his poise. I think that's what everybody talk about, you know, how he's just so calm in those big moments. But, you know, you don't always see that from a guy that young. So just, man, he's just a great player, honestly.
You talk about calm and poise being young. You're young, but you're calm. You are poised, man. What kind of player is Quan Martin? Because I know every time we talk, you've mentioned to me before that you're not necessarily sure players really know who you are yet. The fans really know who you are yet. Have you got to show who you are?
I feel like, you know, as the season went on, man, I just, you know, steadily getting better and better, man. So I think this last game and that pick six, man, that's just an opportunity for me to really just, like, you know, show everybody, like, this is what I'm capable of. And just being able to build off that, man, that, you know, come with extreme confidence.
I mean, how do you build off of momentum right there, right? Like, yes, it was only your first pick six, but you have just had incredible game after incredible game after incredible game. How do you continue to build off of that? Is that just something that's here, or is it something you're doing in this facility that's helping us? Is it all the above? Right, yeah. I mean, every game ain't always perfect. Yeah. So, you know, there's always stuff to learn from and little details to pick up on, like, when you're watching the film. 'Cause you might feel one way out there, but when you look at the tape, it's like, dang, I could have did this better, or, like, my eyes could have been better in this situation.
And, that just really prepares you for the next game and the next game. So I think just always constantly just, not getting complacent, man, just finding the little details and just something to learn from is always like, going to keep me going here. You know what I'm saying?
And so when you prepare for a guy like Hurts, right, Jalen Hurts, bad man just like Jaden Daniels, when you're preparing for them, when you're looking for those little things that stand out to you, what are some of those things that stand out to you that make you feel, we can find success against a high-powered offense like this?
I think just knowing where guys going to be at on the field, I think a lot of formations will tell you a picture. It will tell you a story. And teams kind of get to it in different ways, but, when you really look at it and lock in and, just you're able to see the story that the picture is telling, I think that comes with confidence and just allows you to go out and make plays.
Well, Quan, man, we have nothing but confidence in you, brother. We know you're going to make plays. One more thing for me right there, man. That's your ISO cam. Talk to the Commanders fans because they're going to pull up in Philly.
Yeah.
They're going to be there. Talk to them why they need to show up and show out and how much they have meant to you guys this season.
Yeah, man. The Commander fans have meant a whole lot to us this season. The support has been there. It's been strong. And just come ride this thing out and see y'all in Philly.
See y'all in Philly, Commanders fans.
Yeah.
We know y'all are going to show up and show out. Quan, appreciate you, brother. Commanders family, our next man up. The big man out in Detroit, baby. Quan Martin. Yeah. Quan, good luck this Sunday.
Appreciate
brother. You. Commanders family, since we're in the playoffs, we're going to keep the trend going of having Super Bowl champions and legends pull up to next man up. And this one is one of the best defensive linemen to ever play the game. Not just for the burgundy and gold, but for the NFL. Historically, one of the best, I believe, first in forced fumbles for Washington, second in sacks. Welcoming in Charles Mann. Charles, how you doing, sir?
It is good to be with you. Thank you for remembering the old days.
Well, it's not too old, man, brother. Me and you look at the same age. I'm seeing us right next to each other. You look a little younger than me, honestly. So time has treated you well.
Yeah, time has been good to me. I like the gym, so I'm still over at the gym. I'm only in there for an hour, and I don't do a whole bunch of stuff. And I ain't got my phone looking at my physique and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
I get in there, do the work, and get out.
Aging gracefully is not easy, man, but you are doing a great job of that. Charles, what we like to do on Next Man Up is talk about everything that has to do with these players. Not necessarily so much on the field stuff, but really who that player is behind the helmet. So I want to start from jump. You were a third-round pick by Washington. When you came here, out of Nevada, when you came here, what did you know about the DMV and this team? Did you know much about it when you got drafted?
I hated them. I knew that.
Being honest.
I'm from Sacramento, man. So I was liking everything LA Rams, LA Dodgers, LA Lakers. So when I came here, I had to learn to like John Riggins and Joe Theismann. It didn't take but a second as soon as I landed. And got to know the guys and was in the locker room with Art Monk and, just it was neat to finally have my own likes because, as a kid growing up, you like everything your parents liked or your dad liked. And so my dad was a big Laker and LA fan. So I was a big LA fan, I liked everybody in fact, it was kind of funny because I got my first NFL safety against the quarterback, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, the quarterback for the Rams, and I did it against Jackie Slater, an all-pro 20-year NFL veteran. I made an inside move on him and got a sack on Vince Ferragamo. Vince Ferragamo was the quarterback. And that was pretty cool. So I quickly became a Redskin fan, and you'll hear, there's probably a couple of tapes out there with me saying, when you sign on to be a Redskin, that's who I was at the time. When you sign on to be a Redskin, you sign on to hate Dallas. And of course, I immediately hated Dallas.
So I got to ask, since you brought it up, NFC East rivals, man, who do you hate more? Is it the Cowboys? Is it the Eagles? Is it the Giants? Who gets that number one hated most ranking in your mind?
Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas, because there's a Dallas fan in every crowd.
Man.
Wherever you go, they'll raise their ugly head. They always act out, and they don't have nothing to talk about in these days, but they always find something to open their mouth about. And I have friends that are Dallas fans. which is crazy.
Seems like we all have friends that are Dallas fans. Like you said, every room seems to have one Dallas fan. And you talk about coming in, you learn about, the passion and love for this team, but you also learn about the rivalries. When you think about that rookie season, when you come into a team that's already built, that's pretty much established, what do you remember from that rookie year? What did you learn? What are things that stand out to you?
I remember everything, Brian, everything. So the first thing is I walk into the locker room and guys are smoking cigarettes. There's little vials and little paper wrappings of some kind of peels on the ground. I'm like, oh, okay, what is going on in here? My rookie year, Tony Peters was handcuffed and walked out. Tony Peters. I'm like, okay. Welcome to the NFL.
What a welcome.
we were just getting through the whole, substances being taken and them starting to do urine testing and all that kind of stuff. Funny, they had random drug testing, and I could have swore that maybe 15 out of the 16 weeks I was drug tested. So they picked the young guys that weren't going to be having anything, and I was the one getting tested. It was supposed to be random, but I always got tested.
Hey, well, thank goodness, man, you were all point and acting right, and you didn't miss nothing, man, because what a career it was for you to come into Washington. Now, I want to talk about Dexter Manley a little bit because the combo of you two, I don't know if we've seen a combo like that since. To me, the best pass rusher duo I think the NFL has ever seen. Do you feel that way?
Well, I'm a little biased, but yes.
Me too.
Dexter, first of all, let me just tell you my day one. Day one, this is after draft, April, whatever it was, right after the draft. That day when they called my name on ESPN, first time I'd heard that. And within hours, I'm on a plane in first class heading to Dallas. Listen to that Freudian slip. Heading to Washington. Yeah. And I walk into the locker room. First of all, I see the facility and I'm like, what is this? My high school was bigger than this. Anyway, I said, okay, I'm not going to pay attention to that. So I walk into the facility. And the first person I see coming out of the weight room was Joe Jacoby. I'm 6'6". Joe Jacoby is 6'7". I was at the time as a rookie, I was 230 pounds. Joe Jacoby was 330 pounds. So I walked past him in the hallway. I couldn't get past him. I had to go sideways to get around him. And the next person I see is Dexter Manley. He's swole up. He just benching 450 pounds and doing all that he was doing, sweating profusely like he always does, and this big scar on his face. I mean, I'm like, big, black, greasy brother. I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm not gonna. And then the guy that was walking me through there was Jay Brunetti, the equipment guy. He said, you'll be going up against this guy. That was Joe Jacoby every week in practice. And then when Dexter walked by, he said, and that's who you're backing up. You'll never see the light of day. I said, oh, okay, thanks. Thanks for trusting me, believing in me. That was my first experience. So Dexter was not going to let me. He wasn't going to give me anything. He wasn't going to let me know what he did, but I just watched him. I watched him every day in practice. I watched him in the gym. I watched him the way he worked out, and I was behind him, and I knew he didn't want to let me get in the lineup. But as I start building his confidence in me and I start building confidence, that year he would say, hey, look, if I throw my hand up, you run out on the field. Don't look at the coaches. You run out on the field and spell me. I said, okay. And so I remember the first time I did that, we were in a game, it was burning up hot, and Dexter went about 2 or 3 plays and threw his hand up, and I come running on the field, and the coaches yelled at me, screaming, get back here, what are you doing? And I just kept on running. I ran out there and I spelled Dexter. And over the time, I started learning how he did things, watched his step, watched how he got in his stance. His stance this jet technique, and his butt was high in the air, his hand was out far, and it was like a hurdler's run, getting ready. And I started mimicking everything he did. And eventually, the second year, they moved me to the other side, and now it's his competition. And that's when it was game on.
Charles, it had to be tough as a rookie, right? Because you're coming into this team. You have no idea what to expect, but you do know that Dexter Manley's in that locker room. So as a rookie, before you got a chance to meet him, did you have any expectations of him mentoring you or him welcoming you in and teaching you all of these things? Like, was that kind of tough to deal with when that wasn't the reality when you finally met him?
It wasn't the reality. You're right. And it wasn't tough to deal with. I realized it's dog eat dog. It was going to be, he was the stuff. He wasn't Dexter Manley. He was Mr. D. So that's when he had the mohawk and he was this whole alter ego. He was Mr. D. So you didn't call him Dexter, you called him Mr. D. And he was a bad dude. And so I was just trying to be anything close to him. I know I would have it. And then so they did everything with me. So I was the release man on punt returns, because the year before Dexter was the release man on punt returns. That means I ran down there, took on these defensive backs, tossed them out of the way, and then tried to turn the punt returner into the rest of the group. I wasn't ever making the tackle because I was running too fast to slow down, and all you had to do is give me a little hint, and I was running right past you. But my job was to turn the play in, and I did that. But they had me do everything they had Dexter do the years before. Now it was my turn to do it because Dexter did it.
In your opinion, what changed your guys' relationship? Because you said eventually, as the season kept going, he started letting you know, like, hey, you're the one, I want you to come in. What do you think changed from him and his perspective that made him say, okay, yes, this is my competition. However, I know helping this kid along will bring success to this team?
I think he started respecting me as a player. See, Dexter, when you talk to Dexter, and I'm sure you have, or if you haven't yet, Dexter said they paid him to make sacks. That was what he was paid for. And I came in, I'm like, well, I don't think in my contract they were paying me to make sacks. They were paying me to be a defensive end. So I got to play the run and the pass. And so I prided myself on being able to take on the double teams, the tight end and the tackle, being able to keep contain. That means outside leverage, not letting the play get outside of me. And then also rushing the passer and being right there. You look at all the sacks that I made over my career, Dexter is always in the foreground getting it done to him while I'm making the sack. And vice versa. When he was getting the sack, I was getting double teamed or whatever was happening to me. So it was kind of fun. We started being very competitive. And in that third year, he had 14 and a half sacks. I had 14. And we were the top sacking defensive end tandem in the league. Everybody took pride in that. And I remember the day he ended up winning the sack lead that we were playing the Eagles, as a matter of fact, in Philly. And I needed he was a half a sack on me, and I could not get that sack. I was trying to jump on the pile. I was doing everything I could do just to beat him. And I remember on the plane on the way back, he sat behind me and he was going at it. Charles, I got the sack lead, brother. You can't catch me. It's over. I'm going to wherever he was going. He was going out to the club that night because he was so excited. And I was sitting there like, hey, at least he's recognizing me. He knows that I was a threat. And that was all that I did. I wasn't trying to beat him. I was trying to get to the playoffs. I was trying to win championships. And a part of it came how good he and I were. The coach always said, we have to get pressure without running a blitz. And Dexter and I took pride in that. We got pressure even when we didn't send a whole bunch of guys. We got pressure.
And it's funny to hear you talk about how you guys go from this person where he ain't giving the time of day to because, hey, you ain't never going to see the field behind me. Then you come to a guy that is starting to earn his respect. Then you get onto the other side of the field where you guys get to play together. And again, it sounds like iron was sharpening iron there. Y'all were very, very competitive, man. When you think about those times getting to play with him and being, like I said, the most dominant pass rusher duo that I think I've ever seen. When you think of those moments, what stands out to you most of playing with Dexter and y'all's relationship, and like, what are some of those stories you can give us and those memories you have of where y'all two were just locked in together and getting it done?
Well, first of all, the brother didn't like the heat. So I remember we were going out, we were in Arizona, getting ready to play the Cardinals, and the brother was saying, "It ain't hot out here. It ain't hot out here." That meant it was hot. I knew it was hot because I was in there too. It was hot. And he kept saying that in the warm-ups and everything, sweating profusely. And then within about 2 or 3 plays, that brother went down with an injury. And he was sitting over on the sideline with a towel on him with some water. And it wasn't hot then. That brother shut it down. So Dexter was very, very emotional, and he always wore his how he felt on his sleeve. I remember we were also playing a team, and Dexter was having words. Dexter was talking about the offensive tackle he was going to go up against. And I knew better. I feel like, look, I'm not trying to give these guys any ammunition, so I ain't saying nothing. So they came up to me asking me stuff, and then after talking to Dexter, and Dexter said, "I'm going to beat him up like this and that. I'm going to tear him up." And I wouldn't say, "Hey, look, I'm just happy to play against the guy. The guy's an all-pro. I don't know how I'll do." And Dexter's just going off. Yeah. So, of course, in the locker room, the headings was Dexter Manley says this and that. Man, they was all over Dexter in that game. I had a field day because they had him all hemmed up and I was making plays, So Dexter never did understand that. He always was going to talk he was going to say whatever he had to say. And I was always on the other side saying, "I'm just happy to be here. I don't know how good I'll be." I was setting him up all the time, where Dexter was just talking the way he wanted to talk.
They've got that like fire and ice combo.
We were a great combo, but Dexter Payne, he probably would have had a few more sacks if he had kept his mouth shut.
Well, man, whatever you guys were doing out there, it worked. You yourself have seen multiple Super Bowls and have been a part of some of the greatest teams we've ever seen in the NFL. So when you think about your experience and the way you've been able to win games with these teams, then you look at this current team right now, this current Commanders team. Do you see parallels there and things that make you say, you know what, this seems like a team that could go all the way as well?
I don't see the parallels other than, and look, I played with Joe Theismann. We went back-to-back Super Bowls, and the one I went to with them was in 1983 when we played against who was that? The San Diego? I'm sorry. The Raiders, of course. Yeah. I know that's the only loss we had. Anyway, we were playing the Raiders in the Super Bowl. Joe Theismann was incredible. I watched him all year long just play his butt off as a quarterback. But then the second Super Bowl, the strike-shortened one with Doug Williams against the Denver Broncos, we saw Doug, play his butt off 42 points straight. And then Mark Rippon against the Buffalo Bills in Minnesota, the weirdest place to have a Super Bowl. I'm mentioning those quarterbacks for a reason. Jaden Daniels doesn't look anything like any of those guys except Doug in that one game. Doug in the one game looks like Jaden Daniels in every game. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. I can't even explain it. And I think I'm pretty well versed at what I see, and I've been watching a lot of football. I've analyzed a lot of football. I can't explain this kid. I can't explain him. He is the hottest quarterback playing right now, and you can't factor that in. I don't know how to factor that into the game, but as far as the rest of the team, there's a belief, and that's what's so nice to watch. There's a belief that we can get down because winning is contagious, just like losing is contagious. And this team can get down, but they never think they're out. And that starts at the top. So that starts with Josh Harris. Then it goes to Dan Quinn and his coaching staff. And then those players in that locker room know that they're all by themselves. The world is against them. And that is a good thing. when the team starts believing that it's us against the world, oh my God, you can do anything. You really can. And then you got a quarterback that's not going to throw an interception. He's going to make 99% of the right plays. Every now and then he may have an off throw, but that's it. The off throw doesn't end up being an interception. It's just, man, I'm starting already talking about Super Bowl and Buffalo Bills again. Beating the Kansas City. I can't believe I'm going there. I would never, if you would have interviewed me over the last 30 years, I've been in town. If you had interviewed me over these last 30 years, my wife said, you need to stop being so negative. And babe, I said, I can't help myself. I kind of tell the truth all the time.
Yeah.
And so when people ask us, no, they don't have a chance. No, they're not very good. No. And do you watch them? Oh, I watch them every week. But do they have a chance? No, they don't have a chance. And now I'm saying, man, this is for real. It's for real.
And that
I can't explain it.
And that energy is not just coming from the legends. It's not just coming from the players. It's not just coming from the coaching staff. It's also a belief that's coming back from this fan base. And you know better than anybody what this fan base is like when this team is winning, when this team is winning Super Bowls, the way this fan base shows up. And it feels as if when I talk to these other legends that that's how this fan base is acting right now. When you look at this fan base and everything they've been through, you've mentioned these last 30 years because you've been here as well. You have been a fan as well. How much does this team's success mean not only to this fan base but for the entire DMV?
Well, it's incredible. Let me just say, I can walk. I'm in Ashburn. I'm in Loudoun County. Man, the minute I get into the DC marketplace, even today at 63 years young, had not played in 33 years or so on this team. I walk into DC, I drive in my car, I can be walking down the street. People stop me, even to this day. I don't look anything like, I used to have a high top fade, and I was pretty big, and I look nothing like that. And these people will spot me a mile away, Charles, it's, so that is, do I ever get tired of that? No, that's respect. That's remembering, and I love that. Look, we win a game in Dallas after marching off the plane on the tarmac, marching in fatigues to our bus, marching into Dallas, beating Dallas. We come back that night, and it's 1 or 2 in the morning, and they were at Redskin Park. Wow. Fans were at Redskin Park waiting for us. We win another Super Bowl, one of the many Super Bowls, and they're tearing down Georgetown. They're climbing up light poles and acting a fool. And it's just that stuff. You don't miss that. You welcome that. You love that. That's the pride. This town, when we won, Congress and Republicans and Democrats got along, and they may fight the rest of the week, but that brought people together. It was fantastic knowing that our winning meant that much to the fan base.
There's no better place to be than the DMV, especially when Washington is successful, man. And so, in closing, because we're running out of time here, Charles, man, I've really enjoyed talking to you. We're going to have to have you on next week when we're preparing for the Super Bowl. But we're looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. First NFC Championship game since 1991. How important is it to get that win? How special will it be to get that win over the Philadelphia Eagles, knowing all of the history we have with that team?
Well, first of all, Jalen Hurts is a solid quarterback, much respect. Obviously, the running back is just, he's special. He is special. And so it's going to take a lot to overcome that. But you know what? We're playing with house money. And when you're playing with house money, don't nobody think you can win. Don't nobody think you got this or that. Man, in their backyard with their nasty fans, their fans are the worst in the league. No question.
No question.
To beat them in their own house, we gonna go nuts. I'm gonna go nuts, and I ain't even there. I'm gonna go nuts. I got to make sure I let my community know that if we win, there might be some ruckus going on over at the Mann household because I'm going to be fired up.
Charles, it's not going to just be you. It's not going to just be you fired up. I think the entire area will be. They honestly, you might be calling in complaints because the fans might be a little louder than you.
Okay, all right.
Well, Charles,
this is exciting, Brian. I'm excited to talk about it. Thank you for having me on. This is a special time, and I look forward to this moment. I'm gonna have to find a way to the Super Bowl, brother. If we get in, I'm there. I'm there.
When we get in, I cannot wait to see you there, Charles, because I will be there too, man. We got to get you to come in the studio next time, man. We got a lot more to chop it up about. But Charles, thank you so much for taking the time, man. And just remember, we do not get here as an organization without the things that you and the other legends did to pave the way. That never changes. The name might change, but what y'all did on that field never changes. So, Charles, thank you so much. And thank you for bringing some of that Super Bowl energy here to Next Man Up. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother.
Yes, sir. Commanders family, our Next Man Up, one of the greatest to ever do it, Charles Mann. Commanders family, we hope you enjoyed this extra special playoff edition of Next Man Up. If you want to check our previous Next Man Up episodes, you could catch those on the Commanders YouTube page or stream the audio wherever you get your podcast. I'm your host, Brian Colbert Jr. This is Next Man Up. Catch y'all next week.